Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's podcast. I'm Sarah, and I'm so excited to be here. Today, we're going to dive into a topic that's near and dear to my heart: idioms and expressions in English. These little phrases are what make the language really come to life. And when you use them, you sound much more like a native speaker.
Hey, I'm John. And I couldn't agree more, Sarah. Idioms and expressions are not just fun to learn, but they really help you sound natural in conversations. English, like all languages, has these quirky, colorful expressions that might confuse someone who's just learning the basics. But once you get the hang of them, you'll find that they're really useful and can make your speech much more interesting.
Exactly. And what's so cool about idioms is that they often don't make literal sense. If you translate them word for word into another language, they could sound totally bizarre. For example, in English, we say, it's a piece of cake to mean something is really easy. But if you take that phrase literally, it doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah, it's funny how idioms can be so confusing for non-native speakers. But once you start using them yourself, they can add so much color to your conversations. So let's start with some basic idioms that we hear in daily life. The first one that comes to mind is break the ice. Sarah, have you heard that one?
Oh, absolutely. Break the ice is a great one. It means to do or say something to relieve tension or awkwardness, especially when you're meeting someone for the first time. It's all about making people feel comfortable. So if you walk into a room full of strangers, you might tell a joke or ask a question to break the ice and get the conversation going.
Exactly. So if you were in a meeting and it felt a little too stiff or uncomfortable, you could say, let's break the ice with a fun question. What's everyone's favorite movie? It lightens the mood and helps people start talking.
Right. It's all about making things less awkward. Now, let's talk about under the weather. This is one that comes up a lot, and it means that you're feeling sick or unwell.
Yeah, and it's a great one to use instead of just saying, I'm sick. For example, if you're not feeling well, you might say, I'm feeling a little under the weather today, so I'm going to stay home. It sounds much more natural and casual, don't you think?
Definitely. And people use it all the time, especially when they don't want to get too specific about why they're sick. It's just a nice, polite way to say you're not feeling great without going into details.
Speaking of feeling not great, we've all heard the phrase a pain in the neck, right? This one refers to something or someone that is annoying or troublesome.
Yes, if something is really bothering you or making your life more difficult, you can call it a pain in the neck, for example. That new project at work is such a pain in the neck. Or, this traffic is a real pain in the neck today.
Exactly. It's a good way to express frustration with something. And by the way, there's a variation of this expression, which is a real pain in the ass. It's a bit more casual and definitely stronger, but it carries the same meaning: something that's annoying or difficult.
Great point, John. Now let's move on to call it a day. This is a really useful expression when you're talking about finishing something. You use it when you decide to stop working or end an activity for the day. For instance, it's been a long day, let's call it a day, means that it's time to stop working or doing whatever you've been doing.
Yes, and it's especially helpful after a long, tiring day. Let's call it a day can be used in all kinds of situations, whether it's work or something else. It's a casual way to say, we're done for now.
For sure. And while we're on the topic of working, here's another one that I think is really fun: burning the midnight oil. It means staying up late to work on something, usually because you're trying to finish something important or meet a deadline.
I know that one all too well. It's like when you have an assignment due or a big project at work, and you're staying up late to finish it. You might say, I've been burning the midnight oil all week trying to get this report done.
For sure. And while we're on the topic of working, here's another one that I think is really fun: burning the midnight oil. It means staying up late to work on something, usually because you're trying to finish something important or meet a deadline.
Right, it's very casual, and you can use it in any conversation where you want to mention sleep. For example, I'm so tired, I think I'm going to hit the sack early tonight. It's just a fun, informal way of saying, I'm going to bed.
And if you want to express the opposite, you could use the phrase wide awake. This one is great if you're not tired at all. So, if someone asks you if you're ready for bed and you're not feeling sleepy, you could say, I'm wide awake.
Great one. Now, let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about some expressions related to money. For example, break the bank. This one means to spend all your money or to spend more money than you intended.
Yes, and you often hear this when something is expensive, like if you go out for dinner and the bill is higher than you expected, you might say, that dinner didn't break the bank, if it was affordable, or that new phone really broke the bank.
And here's a more positive version of that. Worth every penny. If you buy something that's expensive but you feel it's totally worth it, you can say it was worth every penny. For example, if you go on a vacation and love every minute of it, you could say, the trip was amazing, worth every penny.
I love that one. Now, let's talk about another idiom that comes up when people are talking about opportunity: jump at the chance. This means to take an opportunity as soon as it's offered, to not hesitate. So if someone offers you a free concert ticket, you might say, I'm definitely jumping at the chance.
Exactly. If you're excited about something and you don't want to miss it, you jump at the chance. It's about seizing the moment and not overthinking it.
Now, here's one related to time, and it's a bit more on the serious side: in the nick of time. This means doing something just before it's too late, right at the last possible moment.
For sure. Let's say you were about to miss your flight and you got to the gate just as they were closing it. That would be in the nick of time. You could say, I made it in the nick of time to catch my flight.
That's a great one to use when you're describing situations where timing is everything. And speaking of time, we've all had those moments where we just can't wait for something to happen, right? In those situations, you might say, the waiting game. This refers to the process of waiting for something to happen, especially when it feels like it's taking forever.
Yes. The waiting game is no fun at all. Like when you've applied for a job and you're waiting to hear back, it feels like it takes forever, and you're stuck playing the waiting game. You can also use it in a more playful way, like, we're just playing the waiting game until the weekend.
Exactly. It's a very relatable idiom. And here's one that's a bit of a fun twist on a classic expression: spill the beans. This means to reveal a secret or give away a piece of information that was supposed to stay hidden.
It's perfect for those situations where someone accidentally shares information they weren't supposed to. Like, I was planning a surprise party for Jane, but Mark spilled the beans. It's always a good one for lighthearted moments.
Right? And lastly, here's an idiom that's a little more serious but incredibly useful: bite the bullet. This means to do something unpleasant or difficult that you've been avoiding. You might use it when you need to make a tough decision, like, I really didn't want to go to the dentist, but I had to bite the bullet and get it over with.
It's a powerful idiom for sure. It's all about facing something difficult head on, no matter how uncomfortable it might be.
And that's the beauty of idioms. They allow you to express so much more in just a few words. You can really show your personality and sound like a native speaker when you use them. It's all about understanding the culture and the way people talk.
Exactly. We've only scratched the surface today. There are so many more idioms and expressions out there, and the more you learn, the better you'll be at sounding natural and fluent in conversations.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode and found it helpful. Keep practicing these idioms, and before you know it, you'll be using them without even thinking. Thanks for listening.
Yes, thank you all, and remember, language is all about practice and having fun. Keep speaking and keep learning.
Take care, everyone, and see you next time. That's a wrap for today's episode of Speak Like a Native. We hope you enjoyed learning some new idioms and expressions that'll help you sound like a local. Remember, language is all about connection, So don't be afraid to try these out in your next conversation. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends. And as always, keep practicing and keep speaking like a native. Catch you next time.